When the evening settles and the day grows still, stories rise softly from memory's hill. These are the letters we carry inside, stories of love, loss, and pride. Welcome, my friend, to Porchlight Letters.
Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Waikanae Beach in New Zealand. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast number 2417. And today we are asking the question, answering the question, what if my relatives say they don't remember anything? Often it is not the problem. Often the problem is not memory, but the way the question is asked. And there could be a reason why they don't. So let's dive in and see why. Direct questions can feel intimidating. When people are asked broad questions such as, tell me everything about your childhood, they feel overwhelmed. The brain struggles to retrieve memories. Without a clear starting point, smaller prompts often unlock more detail. So this goes back to when somebody is having a difficult time and you are offering help, and you say to them, if there is anything I can do, let me know. Immediately what happens is their brain just shuts down. Their brain just goes completely blank. Meanwhile, they're going through, first of all, that when you ask that question, they're starting to go through this list of things that they need help with, and it's always there in the back of their mind, just replaying. But as soon as you ask the question, if there is anything I can do to help, let me know. And as soon as it hears that word anything, it just shuts off. It just shuts down, and the mind just goes blank, because it's sort of like anything. What anything can I give them to do? Be more specific. If you're offering somebody help, don't put the burden on them to come up with something for you to do. Offer to do something. So instead of asking, how the broad questions, tell me everything about your childhood, just start off with one or two little questions like, what school did you go to? Some people went to multiple schools. How many schools did you go to going up? It is a specific question that requires a specific answer. When you're asking somebody if there's something you can do, hey, I'm going to the market. Can I pick you up a lasagna for dinner tonight? It's a quick yes, no question. They don't have to think, oh my gosh, lasagna. Blah, blah, blah. All they have to think about is yes, no. Ask a specific question, get a specific answer. Make it a yes, no question. And the time when you're helping a caregiver, ask them a yes, no question. Don't say if there's anything I can do, because their brain will shut down. Can I come over this weekend and mow your lawns your lawns look like they need mowing. Can I go grab my lawnmower and come over and cut your grass? Yes, no. And remember, if you are on the receiving end of these questions, people are wanting to help you. They don't know what else to do, except they may have a lawnmower and be able to mow your lawns for you. Unless you have a lawn service, then you can say, no, thank you, I have a lawn service that comes in and does that. But if you don't, and it's on you to mow the lawns, accept the help. Okay, they're offering to help. They can't do anything else except mow your lawns, make you a dinner, take the kids off your hands for a while, take the kids to baseball practice or soccer practice or whatever. When they ask specific yes, no questions, just say yes, unless there's some really good reason as to why you have to say no. Could be food allergies, you never know. Specific questions will trigger recall. Asking about routines, places, or objects can help activate their memory. Questions like, what game did you play after school, or what did your kitchen look like, can spark vivid recollections. Specific prompts guide the brain forward toward forgotten details. So, when you got home from school, what was your routine? What did you do each day when you got home from school? Oh, we dumped our bags, we went and had a snack, and then we went out and played outside till the lights came on, and then we had to go home. Okay, that was back then, which is totally believable. But more recently, it's probably like, oh, well, we really didn't have a routine after school. We went we went to ballet and then we went to soccer practice, and then we had this on and that on, and then we came home and had dinner. Yeah, I honestly don't know how kids survive with these conditions these days, but anyway, objects and photographs can help stimulate the memory. Old photographs, letters, or household items may trigger stories. A single photograph can unlock a chain of memories about people, locations, and events. Visual prompts work surprisingly well. have a photo album handy, and have some pictures marked, especially ones that you want to know the stories about. Like, you might know some of the stories about some of the photographs, but if there's some that you don't remember at all or have no clue who's in that photograph, pick it up and say, hey, I was looking through your photo album and I came across this picture. Who's in this? Do you know who's in this picture with you? Who was in this picture? And then they will rattle through the thing. My brother and I did this the other night on the phone. We were having a conversation and we pulled up the same photograph from December of 1957, well before we came along. And we went through each person and identified who each person was. And I could remember some of them. So I remembered that I had the who's in this photo listing of who was in that photograph. And so I brought up my Forever account, because I have the photos in my Forever account. And in the description, I had back row left to right, middle row left to right, front row left to right. And we were able to go through and put the names to all the faces and everything else, which made it so much easier. And we also talked about, family gatherings. We used to gather at my grandparents' place. And all the aunts and uncles would come over with their kids, so all the cousins got to hang out. And we had a blast. And they'll be sitting there, they'll be talking, catching up on news, what's going on, what's happening, and all that sort of stuff. Then the memories would start. And it was just stimulated through the conversation going on. Oh, somebody will say something. Oh, do you remember that time that da-da-da-da-da-da? And off they'd be on another story, which would then trigger somebody else telling their story, which is our next point, which memory improves through conversation. Once a person begins recalling small details, additional memories then follow. Conversation creates a comfortable environment where stories can unfold gradually. Patience is essential. And if you've got a family group there, just get your phone out, put it on the voice recorder, and just record the stories that are coming all around you. And you'll have 2 or 3 conversations going on at a time. As one person is sitting next to another person and they start reminiscing over here, then this couple over here is sitting there having a reminiscence session, or telling the kids in front of them about something that was happening. And then somebody over the other side of the room will be having it. I have been in many family gatherings where we have had multiple, all the families come together for this, for Christmas or birthday, just to get together or whatever, where there's not just been my grandparents and their children and spouses and grandchildren, but other outer family members, like their siblings may have come in with their families. And there's been a lot of conversations going on. And I remember one time, my brother and I tried to count up the other time, this one time that my great aunt from America came over to New Zealand and brought her kids with her. We're trying to remember how many people came with her, and trying to remember when it was, so we could figure out how many cousins were actually there. But there was over 20 people in my grandparents' living room, which was this tiny little L-shaped room. But there were people everywhere. I was in the kitchen with my grandmother. My older cousin was with me. And we were helping grandma get all the food and everything ready, and taking the drinks orders and taking them out to the people and stuff, making the teas and the coffees and putting biscuits on plates, cookies for the Americans on plates and that sort of stuff. But the stories were flowing. I couldn't tell you any story that got told that day, because I was so busy with helping grandma, making sure everybody had got a drink and everybody got something to eat and all of that sort of thing. But it was a phenomenal family time. I just remember the love that was in that room, and just how amazing the conversations were, and everybody was talking with everybody, and there was little groups. All the kids were down on the floor, or the adults somehow found a seat to sit on. So basically the adults were on the front, was sitting on furniture, on chairs, and us kids were all on the floor. I was a teenager at the time that happened. I just don't remember how old I was when that happened, but it was a phenomenal day at my grandparents' house that day. It was awesome. And even though it was my grandmother's family that her sister had come over with her kids, she left Shalane and I in charge of the kitchen, and still managed to get out there and spend time with her siblings. And because I don't think that her sister from America was the only sibling of hers that was there. I'm trying to remember who else was there. But we had a lot of people in that house that day. It was a tiny house. It was a tiny 2-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. It was... Eventually the kids went outside and played, because my grandmother had this huge big backyard and this front yard, and we went outside and played for a bit as well. So there was a lot of stuff going on that day. But when we had the other people around, they were reminiscing about childhood and stuff, and then that would trigger somebody else's memory, and so the stories just started to flow. None of it was recorded. We did take photos. That was about it, but none of the conversations were recorded. And I'm just like thinking, look at all that stuff that we lost. But back then it would have been a cassette tape, and a cassette deck, hitting the record button, and it would be very scratchy and very staticky, and The microphones on those things were crap to start with. So, but always keep your phone handy with the voice recorder ready to go. You'll never know what you're going to get. And even small memories are valuable. A short anecdote about a neighbor, a job, or a daily routine can reveal a great deal of family life. These fragments often become the most relatable parts of family history. Small details build big pictures. Think about when you're doing a jigsaw piece. Every piece has its place. Every piece fits into its place. Every piece has a part of the picture. They're part of a bigger picture that we're trying to create. Why does all this matter? Because memories often exist beneath the surface, waiting for the right question. So ask direct questions in a roundabout way. Don't make them broad. Make them require a specific answer. Like, what was school like for you? How many schools did you attend? I attended 9. My mother didn't believe me one day till I rattled them all off. Then she believed me. I had 6 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school. Middle school, intermediate. Intermediate/middle school. So I had 9 different schools that I went to. Could I tell you about each of them? I remember little bits and pieces of each of them, but if I looked at class photographs, if I looked at my school reports from those times, I actually have a binder. I haven't found it yet, but I have a binder that has every school report in it that I ever got during my 12 and a bit years in school. I started school when I was 5. I left when I was 17. In my final year of high school, I left to join the Royal New Zealand Air Force, but I have every report card that was taken from that first day in school and when I was 5 all the way through to when I was 17. So I've got every report card ever given to me, and it's all in one binder. So I'll show you. Maybe when I find it, I'll show it to you guys one day, just to give you an idea of the type of student I was. I always got an A for effort. The other grades, as far as knowing the knowledge piece and stuff, not as good as the effort column. So your practical takeaways: ask small, specific questions that allow stories to develop naturally. If you start off with the question of how many schools did you go to, and they say 3, oh, did you live in the same house? Did you live in the same house during your entire childhood to go to those 3 schools? And they could say yes, they could say no. They say, oh, yes, no, but we did move to this one, but we were in the same school district, so we went there. And then that leads to other questions. So listen to the answers and build the next question off the answers that they've given you. So you're building the story. And in closing, sometimes a single memory can unlock an entire story. And with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. If you want to join us an hour later at Zanakin Studios YouTube page, then we'll be talking about, we're still continuing the conversation on short form videos and AI. And that one's at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Hang on. Rewind that. 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So 5 p.m. Pacific for Zanakin Studios. Here on YouTube at Zanakin Studio. And then back here for this one at 6 p.m. Pacific. So go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. Hei konara.
The stories we carry stay bright through the night. A small steady glow in the fading light. Stories of love